La Chihuanwa Esquest Daryl Jones from Splatchinga. I want to welcome everyone to our Secwepemc land. For all time and eternity, our people have lived here. I just want to really quickly go over and talk about the geographical area of our territory is quite extensive. We are from the north, from Soda Creek to the most southern band, which is Splatseen. And then we go over to the east to the Alberta border and to the west to the Fraser River. I just want to kind of quickly say that within our nation we have 17 bands. Prior to contact, we had what we have known was 32 campfires that meant that them were our communities. So I want to welcome you to our fabulous territory. I also would like to just kind of talk about a couple more things around what it is we do in the school district, our working relationship with the school district, the four Secwepemc bands, which is Nisconlith, Adams Lake, Little Shuswap, and of course Splatseen. We have neighbors to the south of us, the Okanagan Indians band. They have students in the school district as well. I just want to really quickly say that, you know, what's really important is that working relationship that we have with the school district. And for many years, I can kind of recall a time, I've kind of dating myself, but I'm kind of going back about 20 years where I recall when I first started kind of working in the district, and that was kind of prior even to that, there was no acknowledgement of our territory. So I just want to really thank the school district over the years of working with Secwepemc communities to develop an education program for all Indigenous students within the district. I really want to thank Ann Tenning for the fine leadership she has for the First Nation Education Council and the ongoing work that the four communities and the Métis do as well for our Indigenous students. So I just want to really quickly say that, like, you know, I don't know if people have seen this, it's a book of the Truth and Reconciliation that we always have to be reminded and do the hard work within this book to read it and collaborate and come up with a plan for our students and staff, yourselves as staff, to make sure that we're doing due diligence on everyone's part to have a good program and continue to have a good program within the school district. I want to thank you for this time that I've been able to have a chat with you, and that you have a good day, and that all of us will have a fine school year under the conditions we're in with COVID. Cook's Jam.
Wade Cohoidib and Squest Squanic, Swapmutin, Ethel Thomas, and Sabatin. My name is Squanic in our language, Ethel Thomas in English. I just want to thank the school district. Thank Anne for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. It's always an honor to be here to say words of encouragement, gratitude, to especially our young people. And I just want to thank the teachers for all the hard work that they do with our children. Also want to acknowledge the parents too that work hard, you know, to raise their children the best way that they can. As teachers, you know, I believe that every one of you try your best to treat each child, you know, with love and respect. And I just want to say, Cook's Jam, I raise my hands up to each and every one of you. I'm glad that we have dedicated people that come into the schools every day during the school year to help our children and also encourage them, because you make a big difference in the lives of those children that you see every day in the classroom. And I know that because some of the teachers I've had in my lifetime, I still think about them. They do still make a difference in my life today. I know there's a lot of hard work on the parents' part, to raise a child from the time they're born till they graduate from whatever institution, whether it's high school or college, university. Thanks again to the teachers and all the ones that work with our children, the Indigenous education workers. I think that each one of you are doing a great job. There's been a lot of improvements in the school system today, and I think it's gotten better for our kids. I believe that more of our children are graduating today than they did back in my time. So I'll say a prayer in our language, and I will try to translate it. And I always close my eyes when I pray, so I'm going to close my eyes. Wilmet do the wheat, slats is what I stick up me that. Old gal cook be you mean that why the kusal consists mammal distant ams. Old gal cook be Kanuhada will put us and as the mountain. Oud kalkuk be you Makanuhoko is you mean that the mammal is you mean that Hohwai the Kusalknusku and Alia. My Creator, I just thank you for this day, this beautiful day. I thank you for all the things that you have given us. I ask that you bless each and every one of the people here, those that are helping our children through the education system. I ask you that you bless the parents that work so hard to raise their children. I ask that you bless those that are struggling in this world. I ask that you bless the homeless, the hungry, the sick. And I pray especially for this illness that they find a cure. And I pray that everyone will stay healthy and strong during this time. Again, I thank you. Kalkuk be all my relations.
Hi, my name is David Allard. I'm the elected president of the Saminar Métis Association. I would like to say thank you for the opportunity to share some words with you today, and also to recognize that we are on Secwepemc land. The Métis, as Indigenous people, have been involved with education in a larger sense since the beginning of our nation. Our creation and existence came to be through the combination of many cultures and histories. These cultures and histories had many differences, but more importantly, they had many commonalities. One of the most significant universally shared experience is the importance of adults being key leaders involved in the training of young people to give them as many of the tools that will help them and the collective survive and flourish. Another important and formal element of education is storytelling. This activity has been involved in our shared experience since the earliest days of human culture. With the passage of time, these basic systems of sharing knowledge have developed into highly formalized education systems that are the norm in large parts of the world. The importance of recognizing Indigenous ways and cultural practices in a modern educational context is an acknowledgement of our shared ancestral ways of learning, as well as a demonstration of respect for all. Métis adults trained young people in the skills of horsemanship and hunting, healing and sewing and cooking, and how to be brave and how to be in charge of all the needs of a family and household. As they grew older, they gained insights into how to conduct themselves in society via shared norms and values. Please consider these specific examples, and more importantly, the reasons for being, as an ongoing continuation of the importance of learning from our elders, as well as recognizing that we can and should all learn from each other. I have recently read that any experience that has a formative effect on the way one thinks, feels, or acts may be considered educational. Let's use all of our personal formative effects to help educate us all in all of the many ways that are needed for us to participate in society in a long-lasting positive manner. Let us embrace learning and strive towards the fact that it can and should be a lifelong aspiration. Let me finish by sharing some Michif words I have learned today, plus one Shekwep word. Tanshi, bon matin, merci pour la chance. Oui, pishkewek, merci, thank you, cooks chichup.
Waitikup. I want to acknowledge that I'm addressing you on the traditional and unceded territory of the Secwepemc people. It is an honor to live and work on this beautiful land. Thank you to everyone who helped plan and organize this important professional development day, and all the people here to help and facilitate this day of learning. I'd like to welcome you here on behalf of the Board of Education. I am Amanda Krebs, chairperson of the board and one of your trustees for the Salmon Arm area. You all have the important job of making schools safe, inclusive, culturally relevant, while also teaching the curriculum. It is our hope that you'll be able to take at least one thing back to your classrooms that you learned today that will help many students. Thank you for all the work you are currently doing. At the last board meeting, we had an update from Ann Tenning, our district principal of Indigenous education. We heard about the numerous things you are doing, not just for our Indigenous students, but for all our students. We were excited to hear that our Secwepemc language and culture teaching position has had a successful start. We were also pleased to hear about the good and hard work being done by our TRC allies at each school. Thank you to everyone who participates. It is up to all of us, not just the Indigenous Education Department, to help make all students feel like they belong and be proud of who they are. Lastly, it is our hope that each and every person in School District 83, staff and students, are moving forward in their own journeys of truth and reconciliation. We need to be uncomfortable and not lean back on our privilege. Until we can look back and say that there is equity throughout the whole system, we need to keep moving forward. So let's be vulnerable today and every day for each and every one of our students. Cook's Jam.
Good morning, everyone. Peter Jory Risquest, Waikatip, and welcome to our Ministry Day session in School District number 83. You know, we have an awful lot to be proud of in our little school district, especially in regard to Indigenous education. We've had a strong Indigenous cultural presence for a number of years. We're out in front of the province in regard to our commitment to truth and reconciliation. We joined the second wave of the provincial equity scan, and we are proud of our progress and our initiatives. And in recent year, our program has made a successful shift in alignment, taking the original concept of culture, relationships, and academics as equal pillars of our Indigenous education program, and changing to one where culture and relationships are the drivers of academic success and improved student outcomes. 2 years ago, we made a significant gain in our 6-year graduation rate for Indigenous students. And last year, we made an even bigger gain, closing to within just a few percentage points of the all students rate. And in fact, higher than last year's all students rate. This is heady stuff, people. I would share these numbers with you, but I've recently learned that they are embargoed until the new minister is announced. But we'll share them soon enough if you haven't seen them already. What's the big deal about graduation anyway? Well, that is our core work as a school district. And every social and economic indicator shows that even basic graduation makes a massive difference in a young person's life in regard to opportunity, lifetime earnings, and corresponding health outcomes. It's often been said that success leads to more success. And what I have seen is that the more students graduate, the more students experience meaningful graduation and leave our schools ready for the larger challenges of life, academics, and the workforce. The lines absolutely rise together. For that reason, I'm very encouraged by our progress. So the question is, are we there yet? Well, the answer is no. And until we have true equity in our outcomes, the answer will remain no. If you were to ask an Indigenous student if there was still racism in our schools, sadly, the answer would likely still be yes. If you were to ask an Indigenous student if there were days in which they did not want to come to school because of issues related to poverty, institutional barriers, relationships with other students and staff, sadly, the answer would likely still be yes. There is work still to do. However, I believe we are on the right path, and I trust our educators have all the tools and the understanding necessary to be successful in this journey and create learning experiences for our students that are appropriately robust, but also culturally safe and culturally meaningful. Today will be a great day and another important step forward. Cook's Gem to everyone who has contributed to the learning today. Enjoy the sessions and have a great day, everyone.
Ait native, Antha Antenin Tenitsanat Stamenis. I have just shared a few words in my Halkami'tnam language. Good morning. My name is Ann Tenning, and I am from the Stamenis First Nation. I am the District Principal of Indigenous Education in SD83. I am grateful to be living and working on the beautiful and unceded territories of the Secwepemc people. I would like to thank my fellow District Pro-D Committee members for helping to organize this incredible day. This includes Carol Ann Liedloff, Jessa Clark, Meredith Rusk, Kyla Haddon, and Valerie Edgell. I also thank all of the speakers, presenters, and all of you for your participation. To me, this day exemplifies reconciliation, or reconciliation. You will notice that our presenters include Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. It is so important to show that we are doing this work together. Indigenous education is the responsibility of each and every one of us. I offer heartfelt gratitude to all of the presenters who stepped forward to share their innovative practices and learnings with all of us. Students of Indigenous ancestry make up 18% of the student population in SD83. This day speaks to our commitment to our work in education on behalf of all Indigenous learners. In order to continue evolving in what we are doing, we must also continue evolving our own understandings. Educators have the ability to change lives. In fact, my life could have turned out very differently if it were not for the inspiration that I received from a teacher that I had in grade 7, named Mrs. Clark, who is still a dear friend of mine. Did it matter to me as a young person that Mrs. Clark was non-Indigenous? No, it did not. What mattered was that she cared about me, she believed in me, she helped me to envision my goals and the kind of life I wanted to live. I look forward to this very powerful day of learning and the collective focus and collective energy throughout our district today on Indigenous education. Cook's Gem, Haitsaka, thank you.